Hey guys, so today is the fifth video on the channel, and today's topic is about love and why we are not able to enjoy love. And of course, there's so much YouTube content that I think we know enough that love is better chased than actually enjoyed, which basically means we have more enjoyment in the pursuit of love rather than actually enjoying the moments of love when we have them. And I'll also tell you why moments of love are short lived. All this is my experience, but if it helps somebody, it's good now. So, the first thing is that whenever we like somebody, we are attracted to that person. And when we are attracted to that person, just like in a video game, you can create an avatar of somebody, we create an avatar, an image of them in our minds. For example, I'm a musician, and if I see another brilliant musician, I automatically start liking them because I assume they are very nice people just because they're very good at their art. And I'll tell you why I imagine that. That's because to be a good musician, you have to be disciplined, you have to be loyal to your instrument, you have to spend a lot of time with it, you have to practice every day, and you have to improve. And if you bring all these quality traits into a relationship, imagine the wonders it'll work. But the problem is when you are attracted to somebody, you give them these quality traits by default. You assume that they'll be nice. Even if they are bad, you assume that they'll be nice to you. And there's something that happens where you see everything good in what they do, irrespective of what they're actually doing. And so I've seen a lot of couples when, getting attracted to people who smoke, for example. And throughout the pursuit, they don't mind the smoking, they don't mind anything, but as soon as they're married or they're a couple, one is always telling the other, don't smoke, it's not good, you know. So what is the point of liking all the attributes of somebody and then wanting to change them? That's because we assign those attributes. And then when you're not sure about what you're going to get and you assume that people have attributes because you chase for such a long time, it is so hard hitting when those attributes are not coming to life. You suddenly realize that everything that you were blind to, or your attraction blinded to you about that person, now hits really hard. So what do? You're stuck. And that's why you're not able to enjoy the love that you get once you have the person you are chasing, is because you are faced with a lot of realities. And I'm sure there are people who are really lucky and good at understanding people and love them for what they are. But very rarely have I seen people loving each other for what they really are. It's generally people loving each other for what they imagine the other to be. And this channel is about depression and loneliness. So obviously people who are not depressed have probably uh, you know been lucky in their choices or made good choices, hats off to them. But they won't be watching this video, so obviously someone who's going through depression or loneliness would be watching this, and in that context this has been my experience. The other thing is, there are a lot of love sick people. Love sick people are people who crave to be loved, crave for attention, and a certain kind of attention, and the problem with such people, why they go into depression, is when they get the love that they've been yearning for, they can't recognize it. So sometimes you're confused between getting a certain kind of love and confused between choosing who you want it from. So there may be 1,000 people who may be willing to give you that kind of love, but you don't want it from them. And you want it from that one person who's not capable of giving you that kind of love. So that's another big issue. So you might really crazily love somebody because you like the instrument through which you would get the same love that you expect back, but that's not how it works. The kind of love that you want may come from somebody who you're not willing to get to know. That doesn't mean that you have to marry somebody or be with somebody who is absolutely someone who repels you. I'm not saying that, but you've got to give it a shot with somebody who shows genuine interest in you, no, and not someone who you are showing interest to, because that's a long shot. So that's why mostly love has a short-lived journey in many people's lives, especially the ones who go through depression because of love. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is that you've got to keep digging, you got to keep finding, you've got to be aware of how you're going to experience love. What are the sentences you'd like to hear? If someone's making an effort to say that sentence, how are you going to appreciate it? Is it how is it going to feel? And you might need to go through a few relationships, because you're not going to get it right the first time or the second time or the third time maybe. So you need to be very honest when your feelings are alive about somebody, when your feelings die about somebody, you need to talk it out, clear yourself. There has to be an exit option, and it should not never be a game about who rejects whom first. The minute you realize that someone doesn't want you, or you don't want someone, I think you should just be vocal about it and take a space, take a break, maybe not permanent, at least temporary, to realize and assess how you feel without that person in your life. And also be empathetic to the person for the trauma you might cause them if you leave them. And in the same way, you must be compassionate about understanding if someone doesn't want to stay with you. And while this is such a difficult process, the quality of your love that will come out of this. Generally, when people go through such experiences, they say the love is dead within them. But basically, they are discovering how to love, and they're learning to be more accepting and more compassionate. And then when you choose somebody after going through all this filtration, I'm sure you'll make healthier choices. And I wish that for everyone who's lovesick, including me.